This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, welcome to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm your host, Liz Palika, and with me today are my good friends, Petra.
Hello.
And Kate Abbott.
How do?
And sorry we haven't made a podcast in a while. Like everybody else, we've been social distancing and quarantining, and we're not up to par on Zoom. We just do regular old podcasts. But anyway, we got back together to do one. And we want to talk a little bit about something that's dealing with the COVID thing, for lack of a better word. And that's the potential for separation anxiety when and if we go back to our previous lifestyle. If you're working at home now and you're going to be able to stay working at home, like Petra's hoping to do,
Yep.
She likes working at home.
I love it.
Kate and I, thankfully, don't have to worry about going to an office, but Petra does. Anyway, if you eventually have to go back to your office, leave the house again, and your dog's been used to being with you for the last 2 months, 2.5 months, and probably enjoyed you being at home for all this time. When you leave, there's the potential of separation anxiety.
Big change.
Yeah.
I've been getting a good number of behavioral problem calls, and I quickly started asking people, okay, what is your new routine? I've got people that are walking their dogs 4 to 6 times a day.
The dog's probably going, stop now.
Yeah. I'm like, do you think maybe they're a little wound up? Overwound up? You know?
Settle down a bit.
This is not normal. It's not going to continue, and it's not good for them right now. You know.
Well, it's just the change. If your dog used to get a walk in the morning and a walk in the evening, now he's getting walks because you need to get out of the house. And,
We forget how much dogs like to sleep during the day.
And in obedience
exactly.
competition, we had a saying that if you're nervous at a competition, all your emotions are going straight down your leash to the dog.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that applies for all owners and all dogs. So if you're a little stressed out right now, and lots of people are,
sure,
and you're going out for a walk, say you're going out for a walk and you see somebody walking towards you with no mask on, and you dash off the sidewalk and go out and walk in the street. Think your dog doesn't feel that? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of emotions going on.
Because keeping them busy all the time is not really good for them.
No, it keeps them wound up. The other thing is, if your dog has been with you all the time, and then you leave to go back to the office, that's another abrupt change. And even if that used to be your norm, it's not your norm now. And your dog likes you being there. Maybe you're working at your computer at home like Petra is. She's posted a few photos. Dogs are on the bed right next to her desk.
My coworkers. But you know what? And in the last few weeks, I had to run up to the office for like a day or two or so. And my aunt, luckily, who lives with me, I asked her to pay attention. How did the dog's behavior change? Was there any difference? They're normally used to me not being home during the day, and then with me all evening when I get home. But actually it worked. The first day, they were a little kind of looking around where I was at home, but nothing too major. And the second day was like, oh, okay, Mom left, and then she'll be back later. So we were okay.
Back to the normal routine.
Yeah. So, if you can, start weaning them. You're basically weaning the neediness of your dog away from you. Start now before you have to go to work.
So, how do you do that?
One way is if your dog's crate trained. Right now, put him in his crate, give him something to chew on, leave that room, close the door even, and you go to the other room. If you're working at your computer, maybe have him in his crate in your bedroom. And there's nothing wrong with giving him something to occupy himself there if he'll do it. Some dogs will, some won't.
It gives them a chance to see that it's wonderful to have you leave.
Right.
Yeah.
If they get something wonderful to do while you're gone.
Yeah. We've got a new sponsor for our podcast, by the way, and that's the Kong Company, which all three of us have absolutely loved. I've been using Kongs forever. But if you take a Kong, and I'm sure everybody knows what they are, but they look like a hard rubber snowman.
That's the thing.
What?
Sometimes in puppy class,
yeah,
occasionally in basic, but sometimes in puppy class, they'll say, okay, so take your Kong and stuff it, and they'll be like, what's a Kong? And my jaw drops. I can't imagine raising a puppy without at least one Kong.
Yeah.
Preferably 3 or 4, so you always have one ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, stuff them all, get them ready. And
so a Kong, if you go to the pet supply store, you go online to the dog toys online, the original Kong looks like a hard rubber snowman.
I think if you just put Kong dog toy, that's the first thing that pops up.
Right.
It's their original toy.
And it's hollow. And what we've all done for many years is you plug one into the Kong, usually with peanut butter, although Kong Company makes some stuff you can use too. And then inside it you can put kibble, you can squash a banana, you can put rehydrated The Honest Kitchen dog food, you can put a little canned food, whatever you wish. And then you seal the bigger end, where you've been stuffing stuff in, seal that with peanut butter. And here's the best part. Throw it in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you put your dog in his crate, this is frozen, and it's going to take him more time to get the stuff out. Now, the Kong Company now does make a variety of other toys, too. But when you put your dog in the crate, when you're going to leave him for a little while, the original toy's perfect.
I did sort of go by their website just to remind myself of the wonderfulness, and they have wonderful... There's one I've never tried. I mean, they call it, I think it's chicken pot pie. So you take pieces of chicken and some mashed potato and some vegetables, and you smash all of that inside.
Oh my gosh.
I never thought about mashed potatoes.
No. I bet you could do it with mashed sweet potatoes, too.
Oh, no, yes, they had that one with turkey and sweet potatoes.
Of course they did.
See, you can learn something new and just check it out.
As a dog owner, I can't imagine going through the last few months without my dog, Willow. If you feel the same way, why not reward them with a Kong box subscription? Willow knows each month when that box shows up, whether she can smell what's in there, she loses her little mind and loves the rewards that are inside. So give it a try with your dog. Go to kongbox.com/doggydog and get your first box free with your subscription and a $1 donation. If you and your dog don't absolutely love it, you can cancel your subscription for a small fee, but I doubt you will. You can't beat the value and convenience of a Kong Box subscription. So, for your little furry friend there, sign up, get your free box with your subscription. Go to kongbox.com/doggydog and enjoy all the rewards.
But anyway, when you put your dog in his crate, give him something to chew on, give him a Kong or another food dispensing toy, close the door, leave that room, and if you want in the beginning, set your phone for an alarm in 15 minutes, and then let him out, and then do it again later, and then let him out. Get him used to this separation again. And then, where do you leave your dog when you're normally at work? Is he in his crate, or is he in the backyard, or where do you normally leave him? If you can, start duplicating that routine. Maybe
that'll be familiar.
Right, so it'll be familiar again.
Familiar all over again.
Yeah.
Even to where you start leaving your dogs for a few minutes at home and you go walk the block by yourself without your dog.
Or if you have to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave him where you normally leave him when you go to work. Sometimes if we know we're only going to be gone, I'm only going to be gone 45 minutes to go to the store. Or I have to run 2 errands, so I'm going to be gone 45 minutes. You may not leave him in the place or the routine that you leave him when you go to work. So try to duplicate. If that means putting your shoes on.
Yeah.
I'm in flip-flops right now. That's not my work routine. So, if I was going to leave them to duplicate leaving the house going to work, you don't have to go put on nylons and everything else if that's how you go to work. But go through similar routines.
Dogs do love patterns.
Yes.
Quickly. And yes, you may, take your briefcase with you when you go to the grocery store. Might
Yeah.
leave it in the car, but still, that briefcase may symbolize to your dog that you're going to be gone for hours.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, mine's like my little lunch
Your lunchbox.
box, whatever you call it these days. Yeah, they know where that goes. So I just take it and throw it in the car.
You're going to be gone for
Be
a
gone
while.
for a few minutes or whatever. Yeah.
Predictors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll throw it over to Kate. Now what happens if you've got a problem?
Yeah, well, the latest call was 2 female dogs got into a bad fight.
Oh, dear.
And both mom and dad got bit breaking up the fight.
Oh.
And that was one of the couples that were going for 6 walks a day.
Oh.
And they had come back from, I think, the 5th walk that day. And Dad picked up one of the dogs as they were coming in the door, and the other one turned around and just, that was it. That was the last straw.
I bet she was tired and grumpy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
So I said, well, okay, they did a wonderful thing. They got, while the dogs were in the vet getting patched up, and after they got back from the doctor getting patched up themselves, before they picked up their dogs, they stopped and bought 2 crates.
Good.
Oh, good. Smart move.
I said, that's absolutely
So these must be little
wonderful.
dogs, and you picked one up.
No.
Oh.
Well, the one that was picked up, they said was a lab mix.
Oh.
Why
But
was he picking up a lab
This
mix?
is a little dog. Okay.
And the one that went for the lab was a bulldog.
Oh.
And latched onto the lab mix's chest and wasn't going to let go. It was hanging off of the dog in Dad's arms. It was a bad one.
Yeah.
And 2 females, too.
Oh.
But anyway, so I'm like, okay, have you been using the crates? Yeah. We've been doing all the putting their food in there and giving them Kongs and things like that. I'm like, great. And they seem to be doing okay. Good. Okay, no walks for the next 3 days. And there was absolute stunned silence. It's like, your dogs are overwhelmed, overstimulated.
And probably a little tired.
Yeah, tired and cranky, like a 4-year-old can
Mm-hmm.
get cranky tired. Doesn't excuse that's a really bad fight. There were warning signs. They had been mixing it up before that. But anyway, so when I said no walks, they're like, what? I said, you can go for walks and leave the dogs in crates so they have some time to decompress. Mm-hmm. And when they need to have a bathroom break, on leash in the backyard, we're not playing, we're just strolling around. Use the bathroom, good girl, there you nice, back in. One report that I had was that adrenaline can take 72 hours to get out of the system.
The supreme rush like that.
Yeah. Big
Yeah.
rush like that. So I said, at least 3 days of just letting the chemicals work their way out of the system before we even start about
and
getting them back together.
And you don't want them to practice that bad behavior.
Absolutely.
They've had one fight now. They don't need
And they had
to
some
do...
mix-ups leading up to that one.
Oh, but not as bad.
Not as bad. This one was really bad.
Yeah.
So, the little ones, they kind of went, oh, no big deal. Yeah.
Not with 2 girls.
Well, it started at the beginning of the lockdown.
Oh.
So for the last, she said 2 months, they've been having little spats. So each one of those was...
Both mom and dad were home.
Yeah.
And I bet mom and dad are anxious or
Yeah.
worried. And the dogs are picking up on their feelings.
Absolutely. And it just stacks up. They were probably not getting any decompression time. So everything was just stacking up with the dogs, just like with the humans.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, someone was talking on the news the other day about the incidence of domestic violence going on.
Oh, domestic violence has gone huge. Well,
Now, initially it didn't, interesting, but now that people are done.
yeah.
So they're done, and it's just affecting
And
the whole household.
Those cute little behaviors the first few weeks weren't
so
you
cute,
funny?
yeah. They're done.
Now
it's
would
annoying.
you stop it?
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
I will apologize to my husband ahead of time. He passed away a few years ago, and he was a very, very social man.
Yes.
And I have said many times, I'm
This would
glad
be good.
I didn't have to go through this with him. It would have been bad.
You would have learned Zoom.
Oh, he'd have been on Zoom, yeah.
Bugging everybody.
And when
Even my neighbors have mentioned It's a good thing Paul wasn't going through this. That's how social a man he was.
Yeah.
But Petra, your daughter's a deputy, and she's seen the increase in...
Yeah. Initially when all this started, it was quite surprisingly, actually, between our friend in Oceanside with the law enforcement and then my daughter, surprisingly quiet the first month. I think people were kind of, I don't know, taking advantage of this, being home with their family and all this other stuff. Now people
Netflix,
right, yeah. Now I think everybody's watched everything in Netflix and they're all done. And yeah, increase of all sorts of
domestic
violence, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that there's an increase, I guess, in the domestic violence between dogs.
Well, yeah.
Or just the dogs picking up our anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
And all being in there. But in addition to being in the crate, quiet walks, and I said, no more food in their bowls, but use the Kongs. Because that's going to slow them down. If you put the bowl in there and they just put 30 seconds, okay, you've wasted the opportunity for them to spend 15, 20 minutes working for that food and licking on the Kong sickle, as I call it, when you freeze it. And that calms down and becomes kind of meditative, and then use it as a calming tool.
When I buy peanut butter, I get a little jar for me. I get the great big supersized jar for the dogs. And it's just me in the household now, so I know that's the dog one. And so I use the peanut butter. I use the cheese in a can. You know, the squirt cheese in the can. Sure. Yeah.
All sorts of wonderful ways.
Didn't try mashed potatoes and mashed sweet potatoes, but I will.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a good one to try.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Definitely.
So there's the classic Kong, and then there's other shapes as well.
Oh, sure.
They have some wonderful stuff.
I like to get the cheek rolls for my dogs. It's not rawhide, but it's similar but softer. It doesn't pose the problems that rawhide does. But they're rolled, and I use peanut butter or the squirt cheese to fill in the crevices of the rolled cheek rolls.
Yeah.
Now, my 7-year-old boy, Bones, is not a big chewer, but he's 7 now. He needs to keep those teeth clean. So with some cheese or some peanut butter in the crevices of the cheek rolls, he'll chew just like the 2 younger dogs. So when this quarantine at home started, I got online and I ordered a whole bunch of those.
Any kind of food dispensing toy. The bully sticks, my dogs have always loved those. But they can get, just intense on them. Yeah. So sticking that into the Kong.
And filling around it.
Yeah. It's like the, was it the Tootsie Pop with a center?
Oh yeah. That's true.
You need to lick,
How many licks does it take?
lick. Yes. And then they got to the bully stick. And
see, I'm not particularly patient. I guess before my dogs get it, I go chunk.
Yeah.
You lick for a while and then it's off for Pete's sakes. All right. One other thing that we need to bring up with that goes somewhat along with umpteen zillion walks is we've all heard the adage, a tired dog is a good dog. But with many dogs, you can over-exercise them.
Yeah. You
can exercise them so they get too much of that adrenaline running through their system, or you can just create a very, very fit dog. My Bones.
Yeah. Should I tell my lab story?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've probably told it on another podcast, but a woman called, was not a student, but she wanted my opinion on putting a backpack on her dog, on her lab, and putting bottles of water in it. I'm like, well, what have you done to bring him up to this level? And she wanted the backpack with the weights in it because the walks were no longer tiring her dog. So she wanted to make it more difficult on the walk. I said, great. So she talks about the dog.
Well, a certain TV trainer advocates that also.
So the dog is about 2 years old now. And starting when it was about 6 months, she would do maybe a 15-minute walk in the morning and a 15-minute walk when she came home. And then as the dog was still bouncing when she came home, it went to half an hour in the morning and half an hour at night. So by the time this dog is almost 2 and she's calling me about the backpack,
They're doing
She's
10-mile
doing
jogathons, huh?
an hour and a half in the morning,
Oh,
my God.
wow.
an hour and a half at night, and her son goes over at lunchtime and jogs the dog for an hour.
Oh, my.
It's a very fit, athletic
That's
dog.
what I said. I said, okay, at this point, sure, you can add the backpack if you really want a really, really fit Olympian Labrador.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah.
What she's doing.
But that's not going to make him any calmer, but for a couple of weeks. And then he's going to
Then what-
recover, and you're
then what
going to
are you
have to
gonna do?
keep upping it.
Exactly.
And she's like, well, I'm in my 50s. I can't run with him. I said, okay, let's try another tack.
So, again, getting your dog ready for you to go back to work. Exercise is good, but let's not over-exercise. My Bones could run for 3 hours
Oh, yeah.
and not be tired afterwards. So when he's running and playing with the other dogs, I let him do that. But do I want him to run 3 hours every single day? He'd wear out all the young dogs in our group and he'd still be going.
Yeah.
It's just his personality. He's created himself as an athlete, and more is not going to slow him down.
Right.
What I do is I teach him how to calm himself. Find a spot.
Give him a reason to be calm.
Yes. Find a spot. Lie down. Take a deep breath. And at these times, I don't give him anything to chew on. I just want you to lie down and relax.
Sometimes you have to do it just because he's squeaking.
Yes.
He does squeak too, literally. Yeah.
Literally.
Literally squeaks.
He will run so hard
He squeaks.
that he'll squeak. He's not having
Yeah.
problem getting oxygen. His veterinarian and I have had multiple talks about this, and I videoed him, and she saved the video. Can I have this, please? He just pushes himself so hard.
That he needs so much air, and his throat can only
Can bring so
open
much
up
in.
so much that he's
Yeah.
he's like a squeaking machine. And that's
So
he would probably run until he just passed out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I talked to
Yeah.
his veterinarian about it. She thought I was being very callous, and I said, "It's just the dog. This is who he is. I did not make him do this. It's his competitive spirit. He created this. So,
His owner is not competitive or anything.
no, but I'm not an athlete.
You don't have to be an athlete to be
Boy,
competitive.
you know who your friends are."
What was she just saying about chomping through the...
Right? Right, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Anyway.
Anyway, we teach calm.
Teach your dog to be calm. You
Yes.
can teach calmness.
Put him on a leash. Have him close to you. Have a bed or a blanket or something. Ask him to lie down. And start small. Maybe start, depending on how much training you've done with your dog and whether he knows stay or not, start with 3 minutes or 4 minutes. And then
I would say
work your way
in
up.
trade, kind of like work on the calm for a few minutes at a time. Reduce your workouts with your dogs.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
eventually, you have to. You're going to go back to work.
Yep.
You're going to have to reduce all that 6 times a day working out with your dog. And
You don't want to stop that abruptly.
No, you got to start
I
weaning that.
will say that she said, well, if we don't take the dogs, I guess my husband and I can walk together. Because the bulldog could not keep up with the lab on the walk.
Oh.
So they were very different walks between the two dogs.
Well, you could teach.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm like, yes, go for a walk with your husband.
Yeah.
You don't need a leash. And
Well, maybe hubby does, but...
Guys, stop.
yeah. Anyway, teaching calm. What was with a young dog? I like to watch TV.
Hero.
So laying at my feet with my foot on the leash. Puppy dog has
Hero.
something to
Right
chew
there.
on, something to keep him occupied. And then commercials come on.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Stand
the
up.
hero
Let's
starts
do
barking at all the dogs on TV.
Does he now?
Oh, well, I haven't had TV on for a year and a half, so he's not used to TV.
So that all sounds all great, and I was babysitting Hero for 2 weeks, and we sit there relaxed and calm in the evening, like you're saying, the downtime, we're watching our programs, and commercials come on. And then it's like, all of a sudden, Hero wakes up and looks and starts growling and barking at the TV every time there's a dog on it. I'm like, this is not relaxing.
He hasn't done that since he was a puppy, but I haven't had the TV on in a year and a half, so
You need to turn on just to teach that.
no, it's all unplugged.
Okay, we're practicing. Leave it. Watch me.
But you still got to practice. He got excited, and you helped him
Calm
learn how to
down.
calm down afterwards.
You see my 3 dogs all looking at him like, chill. Relax time. We're all napping.
That's funny.
If you don't have a dog that reacts visually to the TV, you can still get up on the commercials and, sit, calm down, stay. Fun.
Yeah.
Bouncy. Do something fun. And then the show comes back on. Sit back down.
Relax.
Time to chill out again. And teach them they can control their own arousal, excitement.
Rile them up, settle them down.
Rile them up, settle them down. Yeah, we actually practice that in puppy class. And it's not hard to get puppies riled.
No. But you know what? Usually by the end of the course, most of the puppies were you could tell who practiced it and who didn't. But for the owners that practiced it, and I think most everybody saw the benefit of it, when we would say rile them up, they get all bouncy, and then stop and sit your puppy, and be amazed how quickly those little puppy butts could hit the ground, looking at their owner like, I did it!
Yeah.
And boy, is that a wonderful lesson to carry on into adult life.
Yeah, the ones that did it were really appreciative of it. And it showed as the puppies continued to go through other classes, adolescence and adulthood. I mean, adolescents are going to lose their minds. It's part of the definition. But every bit
yes,
of
I have an almost 1-year-old right now. A week away from it.
Every scrap of being able to control themselves to some degree will help everybody, puppy dog and the people, get through stress.
All right, well, so for a quick summary, if your dog's been used to being with you these 8 to 10 weeks and you're looking at going back to work, start practicing things for it now. Keep in mind your state of mind, teach your dog calm, separate him from you a little bit, gradually increase it.
And by the way, I've been contacted by people that had chosen to adopt a dog during this time, which is great. Mm-hmm. But the dog never had the previous.
Yeah.
So this dog thinks that life is always with this person.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big shock.
That's one
thing to start now. With
exactly.
Work on it now. And thank you to the Kong Company for sponsoring our podcast.
Kong Box is a subscription service from Kong where you get
toys and the treats. Original Kong and all kinds of fun stuff. It looks That's great.
Good, yeah.
But keep Kongs in mind too for keeping your dog busy when you're working at home, for when you put him in his crate to put some distance between the two of you for a little while, or just to give him something to focus on at these times.
And, we are talking about the problems that we see, because as trainers, that's what happens. But it is true that for a lot of people, what does Kong say right here? Kong Box would like to recognize that while we as humanity as a whole face a challenge, we also have the opportunity to spend quality time with our friends, furry friends, in a way that may never happen again. And we want to put a spotlight on the powerful role dogs have played in helping us get through this difficult time.
Amen. You watch social media and people are saying that over and over and over again. Their dogs or their cats. The rescue that Petra and I foster kittens for has had a huge influx of volunteers to foster.
Yeah.
Because people are at home and they're going, I'd like to do something. It can be a little frustrating sitting at home going, is this all I can contribute, is staying at home?
Yeah.
I understand the importance of flattening the curve and not getting sick myself, and not making my elderly mother get sick because I get sick. But sometimes we want to just do a little more. And a lot of people are, like you're saying, adopting a new pet or want to volunteer.
I have noticed a trend on the trainer chat lists, trainers throwing out challenges to other trainers. Can you teach your dog to do XYZ?
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
So there have been some fun,
very cool,
happy challenges amongst
trainers. I will say this would have been considerably more difficult without social media.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Being isolated, quarantined would have been significantly more challenging. Because look at all the musicians who have gone up and done mini shows.
Yeah, sure.
Or sang a song or posted on YouTube. or artists who have shared their work, or I belong to a number of writers groups, writers who have put up a chapter and go, here, enjoy. Things like that. It would have been much, much different without social media.
And there is I'll throw in this plug, a sportscaster in Britain that has used his 2 dogs,
Olive and Mabel,
to satisfy his craving to be a sportscaster. So if you're on Facebook,
Funny.
look up Mabel and Olive, and just some wonderful videos.
Yeah. All right, that'll be us for this time. Tune in again. We're going to have another podcast talking about some things that you can do with your dog to occupy him while we're still at home. And some of us may be home for a while. We don't know what's going to happen. So enjoy this one and tune in again. We'll have another one for you.
Bye-bye.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.